Hello everyone, welcome to GSTZen's webinar. Uh, Jagdish sir, we can start the webinar.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, Good afternoon, all. My name is Jagdish. Yeah, just a second. Yeah. My name is Jagdish. I'm a chartered accountant and hope you all have busy with the tax audit season till date. So now next big task behind us is the filing of the annual return, that is the GSTR-9 and 9C. So this is exactly what we are discussing today. Today we are discussing about the GSTR-9 annual return and the reconciliation statement, that is the 9C. Let me share my screen. Yes. Is my screen visible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So in today's session, I'm going to discuss about the annual return GSTR-9 and the changes that have recently proposed in the reconciliation statement as well as in the annual return. Just a second. Annual return. So this is the flow of the session. First, we'll discuss about the legal provisions, and then I will walk you through the GSTR 9 and 9C form and the changes, recent changes that have made in annual return. And at the end, we'll see the spillover adjustments, how to do the adjustments uh, in the annual return. And after that, Manisha will take you through how to file GSTR 9 and 9C using the GSTZen software. So diving into the session starts with the legal provision. So section 644, section 44 of CGST Act mandates every registered person is required to file an annual return. But there are some exceptions given. The person who is an input service distributor or the TDS director or TCS, tax collector, or and casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person. All these persons are not required to uh, file an annual return, though they are registered. So the annual return includes the self-certified reconciliation statement, that is the 9C. So it has to be filed in such time and in such form. So what is the time? Within what time we have to file the annual return? That is provided in the Rule 80 of CGST rules. As per that, we have to file the GSTR 9 and 9C on or before 31st December of the subsequent year. That is now we are in the month of the November. So in the next month, we have to file the 24-25 annual return. So what is this annual return? What is the form? In which form we have to file the annual return, and to which person, which form is applicable? Now we'll see. For the regular registered person, that GSTR-9 is the form prescribed. And for the composition dealer, he has to file his annual return in the GSTR-9A. But this 9A is not available in the portal. Advisory has said that for composition dealer, GSTR-4 itself is an annual return. So 9A is not applicable for the composition dealer. Only GSTR-4 they have to file annually. And if a composition dealer has converted into a regular in mid of the year, then he has to file both GSTR-4 as well as GSTR-9, because 9 is applicable for the regular registered person. As we already discussed that annual return is not required to file by input service distributor or TDS holder, TCS holder, or casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person. This is uh, the applicability of the annual return uh, filing. So now, just before we said that every registered person is required to file the annual return, but to facilitate, to give the relaxation to the small taxpayers, they have given some exception. Now we'll see what the relaxation given to the small taxpayers. The registered person who is having turnover less than 2 crore, for them both GSTR 9 and 9C is optional. And for the registered person whose aggregate turnover is more than 2 crore but less than 5 crore, for them GSTR 9 is mandatory, whereas reconciliation statement, that is 9C is optional, whereas in case the turnover is more than 5 crore, for them both 9 and 9C is mandatory. So, but in my view, we always recommend to file, even option has given, but we always recommend to file the GSTR-9 and 9C, though it is not mandatory, because this is the final return that we can correct the mistakes if we any committed at the time of filing the monthly returns. So moving on to the, uh, so let's go and see the what are all the contents in the form GST annual return. Before going into the contents of the annual return, let's see the context of the annual return and reconciliation statement. So what is GSTR-9 and what is GSTR-9C? Now we'll try to understand. Okay. So GSTR-9, it what is done? I will say GSTR-9 is a statement of the fact. What you have actually done, what has happened. So GSTR-9 will captures what is the turnover on which you have paid the taxes and what are the exemptions, what you have declared, and the taxes, what you have actually paid. So GSTR-9 will capture what actually happened. Whereas 9C is a reconciliation statement. It asks for the actual turnover on this taxes payable. So exemption, whether the exemption claimed in your monthly returns is valid or not. What are the actual taxes I need to pay? The ITC availed in my monthly returns is correct or not? Whether is there any eligibility or not? And the net ITC eligibility. So that's the reason I'm saying GSTR-9 is a statement of the fact, whereas 9C is a reconciliation with actually what to be declared, or to on what turnover the tax liability has to be paid. So now moving on to the contents. So GSTR-9 is a beautifully drafted statement. It is divided into total 6 parts, part 1 to part 6. Part 1 is the basic information, and in the part 2 deals with the liability. So after liability, part 3 deals with input tax credit. So after liability and input tax credit, obviously next part is the tax paid details. And in the part 5 adjustment, that is spillover adjustment, if any adjustments done in the subsequent year, that we need to report it in the part 5. Whereas part 6 is an other information. It's nothing to do with the input tax credit or the liability. This is just a disclosure requirement that is seeking by the statement that we need to provide in the part 6. So again, the liability part 2 is further divided into two tables, table 4 and table 5. Whereas similarly, the input tax credit is further divided into three tables, table 6, table 7, and table 8. Table 6 deals with the input tax credit, gross ITC, and table 7 deals with the input tax reversal. Whereas table 8, it is a reconciliation of ITC avail and the ITC avail reflecting in the GSTR to be. So after liability and input tax credit, tax paid details. What is the tax in the table 9? It a comparison between actual tax payable and the tax paid in the returns. So if there is any difference, that we need to give the reasons, or have to pay, has to pay through DRC 03. And coming again to part 5, it's an adjustment. We can say the spillover adjustments. If any turnover or ITC pertaining to 24-25 is reported in the 25-26, those details we need to report it in the table 10 to 14. Table 10 and 11, we need to report about the turnover, and 13-14 input tax related adjustment we need to report it there. And table 15 to 19, these are the additional disclosures. We'll discuss about each of these table in detail in the later slide. So I want to give the idea how the data is flowing from table 4 5 turnover, and then input tax credit, and then the difference between the liability and input tax, then the tax. So you just I know it's difficult to digest all these tables in the short period of time, but once you start start preparing your annual return, definitely you will get habituated with all these tables. So just now I want to give an idea how data is flowing from table 4 to table 19. So similarly, coming to the reconciliation statement GSTR-9C, it is again divided into the 5 parts. Part 1 to part 5. Again, part 1 all about the basic information, that is taxpayer name, GSTN and period, and all the basic information will be there. And in the part 2, turnover details. Part 3, tax payable and paid. Part 4 is about input tax credit, and part 5, additional tax liability. So this is the structure of the reconciliation statement. So coming to the source of information required for filing GSTR-9. For preparation and filing of the GSTR-9, the basic primary information required is 12 months GSTR 3B, that is for the complete to 2024-25 3Bs, and 12 months GSTR 1, and your audited books of accounts, and a 12-month GSTR 2B. Along with this, additional information is also required, like 3B, if any turnover and input tax credit reported in the subsequent year. Further, you need GSTR 3B and GSTR 9 previous year. This is required because if you have made any adjustments pertaining to 24-25 in the previous year, for that you need to cross check with that GST. Yes. And DRC-03 tax payment, that also is required on what you have discharged the tax. For that reason, you want DRC-03 tax payment, and also any notice order from the department has received pertaining to 24-25. That information is you required, and refunds claim. These details, notice details and refund details are required to provide in the loss section. That is the part 6. Other information, other additional information, there you need to report this. So all this information required. This is where exactly the software like GSTZen would be helpful for you. On a single click of button, you can get all these information um, uh, at one place. So manually collating all these information is a tedious job. So we always recommend you to use a software to collect all these data from the different sources and put it in the one place. So coming to the now starts with the outward supply. As we already discussed that table 5, 9, 10 and 11 deal of GSTR-9 deals with the output tax liability, turnover part. Coming to the 9C, table 5 to 11 deals with the turnover. Now starts with the turnover. As we all know that turnover as per the books of accounts and turnover as per your GSTR-9 will not always match, because whereas books of accounts will be prepared by the applicable GAAP, that is generally accepted accounting principles, whereas GSTR-9 will be driven by the um, time of supply. When there is a supply, then only it will trigger for the levy of the tax. Whereas for the books of accounts, if you see the unbilled revenue, it will be the turnover only for the books of accounts, but not for the GST. So that's the reason GSTR, the statement itself, reconciliation statement itself, has given some adjustments in order to arrive the turnover as per the GSTR-9. So after, I'm not going in detail about all these adjustments. So if you see the different type of adjustments here, unbilled revenue, opening unbilled revenue and closing unbilled revenue, advances and credit notes issued after the end of the financial year, or trade discounts, all these will not be not form part of the GSTR-9. So after eliminating all or adding these adjustments, you will get an adjusted turnover, annual adjusted turnover. So this is the turnover as per your GSTR-9. So after arriving that adjusted turnover, that is GSTR-9 turnover, it has to be bifurcated into the 2 parts. Now coming back to the GSTR-9, as I already said that turnover has to be reported in the 2 tables, that is table 4 and table 5. In the table 4, we need to report all those transactions having the tax implication. And in the table 5, transactions have not having tax implication has to be reported in the table 5. See, you can see here in the table 4, you can see all these transactions which are subject to the levy of GST. So if you see B2C taxable, B2B taxable, B2B export with payment of tax, SEZ with payment of tax, and deemed exports. And along with the turnover, you can see here that inward supply subject to the reverse surge. So here, though it is not our turnover, but we are discharging liability on our inward supplies under reverse surge. For that all, that all, though it is not our turnover, we need to report the reverse charge liability here. So again, if there are any adjustments like credit notes, debit notes, or upward, downward amendments pertaining to these taxable supplies, we need to report from the table 4I to 4L. So table 4, we need to report the taxable turnover, and in the table 5, we need to report the turnover which is not subject to the GST. You can see here the exports with payment of tax, SEZ without payment of tax, and non-GST supplies, exempted supplies, nil rated supplies. All these required to be reported in the table 5. So table 5 is taxable turnover. We need to report in table 4, and in the table 5, the turnover which is not subject to the GST report in the table 5. So if there is no adjustments, I mean, there is no subsequent reporting of the turnover, or in that case, only table 4 and 5 either net turnover as per the GSTR-9. In later slide, we will see those adjustments. If we made any adjustments in the subsequent periods, how to report all those, we'll see in the next slide. So as I said that your table 5N, if you see here, that table 5N is nothing but table 4N plus 5M. That is total of the 4N plus total of the 5M, that is a total of table 4 minus 4G. 4G is nothing but your inward supply subject to the reverse surge. So we are clubbing both table 4 and table 5 and eliminating the reverse surge supplies. Thereby, we are getting the turnover as per the GST. So your table 5 and turnover is nothing but your GST turnover for an year. So it includes table 5 and includes the original both taxable and exempted and also amended records. Non-GST supplies also will be included in this. So at the end, we'll see the spillover adjustments. Now after this turnover, we'll see the input tax credit, and the changes also we'll discuss in this section only. So coming to the 9.9C, so input tax credit. So table 6. So table 4 and 5 deals with the turnover, right? Table 6, 7, and 8 deals with the input tax credit. In the table 6, whatever the ITC you have availed in the 3B, that we need to report in the table 6. And whatever the ITC you have reversed in your GSTR 3B, that is the table 4B, we need to report in the table 7 of GSTR 9. And again, table 8, it is a reconciliation of an ITC availed in your 3B with the ITC reflecting in the 2B. So total up to 8 tables we have discussed. 4, 5 turnover, 6, 7, 8 is about the input tax credit. So coming to the 9C part. In 9C, input tax credit reconciliation with books of account is required to be provided in the table 12. And also expense-wise bifurcation is required to be provided in the table 14. So we'll discuss about each of this table in the next slides. If you see here, what is the credit that will flow to electronic credit ledger? So in the 3B, whatever the ITC, 4A is the gross ITC and 4B of GSTR 3B is your reversal. The net ITC is nothing but 4A minus 4B is your net input tax credit. Only that ITC will flow into my electronic credit ledger. And other than this, there is a direct entry of input tax credit to the electronic credit ledger. So by means of TRAN1, that is transactional credit, TRAN1, TRAN2 form, and also ITC1, ITC2, like amalgamation, a merger. In those cases, by filing this form, ITC will go directly to the electronic credit ledger. By this way, so mere reporting of excess ITC in GSTR 9. So will not have an impact on the electronic credit ledger. ITC will go into the electronic credit ledger only through through 3B, not through the GSTR-9. And also similar way, if you reverse any ITC in the table 7 of the GSTR-9, that doesn't mean that ITC in your electronic credit ledger will get reduced. If you want to reverse the ITC, you either you have to reverse it in your GSTR-3B or by way of DRC-03. Only by that you can reverse the ITC. Hope it is clear. So moving on to the next slide. So this is the overview of the table 6. This is the new, it includes the changes also what they have proposed recently. If you see here, the table A1 and A2, these two tables are newly inserted, and also we'll discuss in detail about these tables also. So remaining all are same, and there are some changes in the table 6H. The reporting changes are there, 6H, 6J, and 6M. What are all the tables which are highlighted? Only those tables were changed for financial year 24-25. So okay, now we'll see the what are all the reporting changes. First we'll discuss about the table 6. Table 6A1, which is the newly inserted table. So what it is asking, ITC of preceding financial year availed in the financial year, when other than ITC reclaimed under Rule 37 and 37A. So whatever the ITC in that you have availed in the 3B pertaining to the previous year, that you need to report it in the table 6A1. So out of the total 4A of your 3B, you have to carve out the previous year ITC, that is 23-24 ITC. You have to carve out from that ITC and report it in the table 6A1 and 6A2. In the 6A2 is nothing but A minus 7. So total 6A is nothing but your total ITC you have availed in your GSTR 3B. From that, you are carving out 6A1. That is previous year ITC you are carving out. So net what you are getting, the ITC of 24-25 reported in 24-25. That is nothing but the 24-25 ITC. It is lying in the 6A2. Again, in the 6A2, if there is any reclaim ITC pertaining to the 24-25, let's say in the April 2024, I have reversed the ITC in the 4B2, that is temporary reversal, because of not satisfying the 16 to section 16 condition. Because of that, I have reversed that credit and parked it temporarily in my 4B2, that is the temporary reversal. That credit I have reavailed in the subsequent month itself, that is the May 2024 itself. Even then, that reclaimed ITC pertaining to the same financial year, I should not report it in the table 4A2. I have to report that it in the table 6H. So reclaim ITC 24-25 to be reported here. And again, if you see the 6B, inward supplies other than imports. So what is the table 6B? You can see here, table 6B, you have to provide the breakup of the A2. You have to provide the breakup of A2 from B to B to I. You can see here subtotal B in the table I, subtotal B to H. So for A2 table, you have to provide the breakup like inward supplies and inward supplies received from unregistered person liable to be reversed. These are the inward supplies on which we have paid the tax under reversals from registered person and unregistered person, and import of goods, import of service, and input tax credit reversed from the IST. So we have to provide the bifurcation for all these things. In the table 6J, ideally the result should be 0. If you get any other figure, either positive or negative, other than 0, then you did somewhere wrong. So this is the checkpoint. So you can see here what are all to be required to report in the table 6H is reclaimed ITC dated 24-25. That is if I temporarily reverse 24-25 ITC and reclaim the ITC in the same financial year, even then I have to report it in the table 6H. And reclaim ITC reversed earlier, that is, if any previous year ITC which was reversed earlier because of rule 37, because I have, if I not paid to my vendor within 180 days, I need to reverse my ITC. Again, if I paid to my vendor, then I can re-avail that ITC. So if that like that ITC, if anything is there, that we need to report it in the table 6H, similar to the 37A, non-filing of return by vendor. Then I need to report. I need to reverse the ITC. Even that ITC, I need to report it in the table 6H. And reclaim of ITC reversed earlier for other reasons. In that case, other than these 37, 38, 37A, previous year ITC, if I have reclaim, then I need to report it in the table 6A1, not in the table 6H. So you may feel bit confusion here, but when you correlate this table 6 with the table 8, then you will get clarity why I asked to report it in the table 4A2, and again carving out from the 4A2 reclaimed ITC and all that. Because so at the time of discussing about the table 8, we'll discuss about this correlation part. So what till we have discussed, I put it like a summary here. So if any 23-24 ITC availed in the 24-25 as in reclaimed ITC, then I need to report it in the table 6A1. If I reclaim that ITC as a part of rule 37 or 37A, that is not paying to my vendor within 180 days, that ITC I should report it in the table 6H. So thumb rule is that previous year ITC you have to report it in the table 6A1 in the general case. If you are re-evaluating that ITC because of this rule 37 and 37A, in that case you have to report that it in the table 6H. Now coming to the table 24-25 ITC. If you are availing 24-25 ITC, that is fresh ITC, that is not reclaimable, it is reflecting in your 2B, in the same month you are availing in your 3B without adjusting that ITC. So in that case, you have to report, it will fall under 6B. And again, if you are availing 24-25 ITC in the subsequent year, 25-26, in that case, you need to report it in the table 13 of GSTR-9 and table 8C of the GSTR-9. And reclaim 24-25 ITC. You are re-availing 24-25 ITC in the same year, but even then you have to report that reclaimed ITC in the table 6H. Similarly, in case of reversal, in 24-25 you have reversed it. In the table 7 of GSTR you have to report, and if you have reversed that ITC in the subsequent year, then you need to report it in the table 12. So as we at the time of discussing the structure of the statement, you can see that table 12 and 13 deals with the ITC table. If there is any reversal of ITC pertaining to the current year and the subsequent year, that we need to report it in the table 12, and similar vice versa case in the table 13, that current year ITC, if any availed in the subsequent year, that we need to report it in the table 13. So table 6 is a difference. This has also changed because of insertion of the table 6A1. Ideally, your table 6J should be 0. And coming to the table 6M, here you need to report the details of ITC available through various forms like ITC 01, 02, 02A in the financial year shall be declared here. So in the table 7A1, again, this is also new table in the reversal section of GSTR-9, that is the table 7A1. If any ITC reversed because you have because of rule 37A, that my vendor has not filed his 3B, in that case I need to report it separately, that in 7A1. But this requirement is not there in GSTR 3B. In 3B, you just reverse it under either it may be permanent reversal or temporary reversal. There is no requirement to report separately for 37A like that. But here GSTR 9 is asking us to report if any reversal is there under rule 37A in the table 7A1. So we have to carve out of that temporary reversal and report it here. Coming to the table 8, this is the most important table, because if we understand this table, then remaining all logics we can easily understand. So what is table 8? Earlier, at the time of implementation of GST, that 17, 18, 18, 19 GST, if you see, your table 80 is nothing but your 2A of that respective year. And after introducing this 2B last year, they have changed 80 is nothing but your GSTR 2B. And again this year, it was changed. Now, what is my 80A? Table 80A means this 2B only, but the figures in 2B will get changed. Your 12 months 2B will not match with the figure in table 80A. Why means, see, if you see this table 80A, if any 23-24 items, invoices populated in 24-25 2B, it will not be populated in your table 8A. That means, though your 24-25 2B is having 23-24 transaction, those will not be populated in your table 8A. And 24-25, anyway 24-25 transaction will still be there. If any 24-25 invoices reflecting in 25-26 2B, those will be come and sit in the current year 8A. So your 8A will have an only 24-25 transaction, though it may be reported it in the current year or it in the next year. Okay, hope it is clear to you all. If you have any questions, you can put your questions in the chat box. I will answer all your questions at the end. So yes. So what is there in your 8A? Only 24-25 transactions, which are there in the 24-25 financial year, or though there may be in the subsequent year. Okay. So 8A is bringing 25 transactions from the next year also, which are reported up to October, that is November 30. I mean April to October 25 returns, and eliminating 23-24 transactions from the 24-25 2Bs. Okay. So now this 8A is matching with your table 6B. Earlier 8B is nothing but your 6B plus 6H. So what we have reported in the table 6B, only those transactions, fresh ITC, which pertains to 24-25, only reported in the table 6B. So this is the correct comparison now. So there we are in the table 6B, we are eliminating the reclaimed ITC. Reclaimed ITC we are reported in the table 6H. So while comparing with the table 8A, 8B is picking from the 6B. 6B is having only the 24-25 transaction. So this is the right way of comparison now. So if you see the 8H, so just a second, I will show the table 8. So you can see here that ITC as per 2B, it will have a transaction only 24-25 transactions, and ITC as per 6B, your 6B is nothing but the 24-25 transactions, and 8C is ITC on inward supply. Received up to final, but availed whatever the ITC we have availed in the subsequent year, that is there in the 8C. So 8 minus B plus C should ideally match. So this is how they have restructured this statement to make the 8A more meaningful, table 8 more meaningful. So earlier there are some issues with the table 8, and department also uses these differences and propose demand if any difference is there in the table 8D. So all those incomplexities and issues has resolved with this restructure of the statement. So again, G, H and H1, they have made little changes. Here, if you see here, table 8H, if any IGST credit availed on import of the goods, it will be auto-populated from the table 6C in the table 8H. Out of that reflection of ITC on imports, that is, which is reflecting in the IG, we have to carve out the ITC and put it in a table 8H1, whatever the ITC which was pertaining to imports availed in the subsequent financial year, that we need to report it in the table 8H1. So this, now we'll see the spillover effects. If any ITC of the financial year reversed in the next financial year, just before we discussed about this also, if any ITC pertaining to 24-25 reversed in the subsequent financial year, then I need to report it in the table 12. And similarly, if any ITC pertaining to 24-25 I have availed in the subsequent financial year up to November 30 through GSTR-3B, then I need to report it in the table 13. Coming to the RCM reporting, I am reporting my RCM liability in the table 4G. Though it is not my turnover, and ITC under RCM. ITC again, ITC, RCM, ITC, we are availing as in the single table, that in the table 4AC, 4AC in the GSTR-3B. But again, here we need to bifurcate between unregistered purchases and registered purchase and report it in the table 60 and 60 respectively. Okay. And these are some validations. Your table 60 of GSTR-9 plus table 60, that is unregistered ITC availed on unregistered purchases and registered purchase, should always be less than or equivalent to table 4G. That is the liability what you declared in your GSTR-9 should always be, your ITC, RCM ITC should always be less than or equivalent to the liability. This is one of the checkpoint for the RCM. And also table 4 of GSTR-2B, that is RCM liability which is reflecting in your 2B, should always be less than or equivalent to the table 4G of GSTR-9, that is liability. Your liability should always be more than or equivalent to the RCM liability reflecting in your 2B. Similarly, coming to the ITC part, your RCM ITC should always be less than or equivalent to table 4 of the GSTR-2B, that is liability reflecting in RCM liability reflecting in your 2B. These are some validation about the RCM. Now coming to the tax payable versus tax paid. What is your taxable turnover means? Table 4 plus 10 minus 11. Table 4 will discuss about my taxable turnover plus 10 minus 11 plus 7. If there is any upward adjustment that have been made in the subsequent financial year, that is up to the November 30, that I need to report it in the table 10 and minus 11. If there is any downward amendment of my outward supply, then I need to report it in the table 11. So nothing but my, if I want my taxable turnover, it is nothing but 4 plus 10 minus 11. And tax payable, if you see the table 9 of the column 2 of table 9 of GSTR-9, it will show my total taxes payable which will flow from my table 4. And again taxes paid, it will pick it from my GSTR-3B, that is in the column 3 of GSTR-9. The difference between payable and paid is my, if there is any difference, if there is any payable comes, then I need to discharge either through DRC-03 or I have to provide the reason for that difference. If there is any short payment, that I can adjust in the subsequent period or can claim the refund in case of excess payment made. Coming to the table 17, HSN, outward HSN, we need, this is the mandatory table, we need to provide the information in this. Here the turnover should match with your total turnover. So what are all the turnover I need to match the HSN? Table 4, that is the taxable turnover, table 5 and non-taxable turnover plus 10 minus 11, that is adjustments. But this non-GST turnover not required to given any HSN. Similarly, inward RCM, because anyway inward RCM is not my turnover, that's the reason we are eliminating that from the table 4. And also the advances. On advances, we pay GST. In case of services, we pay GST. In case of advances, that advances is not a turnover. That's the reason we are eliminating the advances and RCM from the table 4. So by eliminating that, table 4 plus 5 plus 10 minus 11, whatever you get the turnover, for the turnover you need to provide the break up with the HSN. These are the other validations. So now Manisha will take you through how to report all these with the help of the GSTZen software. If the time permits, at the end, I will take up the questions. Okay. So, hello. Yeah, Manisha, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Let me
Yeah.
just share my screen. Hope my screen is visible, right? Can anybody please confirm? Lakshmi, is it visible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Yeah, thank you. So, very good afternoon, everybody. So today here I will be demonstrating you that how you can file your 9 and 9C using GST Zen in no time and with very quick, simple steps. Before moving to 9 and 9C, I'll just quickly show you that how GST Zen looks like, what all features we have, and how easy the software is to do your day-to-day GST compliance things. So once you log in and sign up, this will be the dashboard where you can add multiple GST numbers. So here I have added few GST numbers already in my dashboard. Here we have a tab to add new GST numbers. So you can just simply click on this GST number. You have an option either to add one GST number or to add multiple GST numbers in one go. Then we have manage multiple GSTNs because most of the taxpayers and multi companies need to work on the PAN level. So here we have a tab that's manage multiple GSTN where you can upload your sales and purchase register at a PAN level in one Excel in one go. Then we have this autopilot. Sometimes you need to work on multiple GST numbers in one go, and there it consumes a lot of time of yours to toggle between one GST number to another GST number, even to do the same type of work. So here we have autopilot where you can do the function for multiple GST numbers, almost like 50 GST numbers in one go, whether it's downloading the report from the government portal or running the matcher while doing a reconciliation or to get the return filing status for multiple GST number. So you can use autopilot. That's a one stop. Then we have this notices where you can track all the notices issued to you or raised by the GST portal. You can keep a track under this notice tab. Here you get the return status. If you want to see the return filing status of your GST numbers, which is already there in your dashboard, you can use just these options and see what all GSTs has been not filed, and it will give you the complete status. Moving towards the GSTR-9, let me just uh, choose one of the GST number using which I will be showing you that how GSTR-9 looks like in GST Zen. So I'll just choose this GST number. So when I choose this GST number, it gives me the three major options of GST Zen, that is downloading a report, reconcile books versus government portal data, and file GST return. Under this download a report option, we have multiple reports. You can have consolidated report where you can see the comparison between GSTR-1, 1A, 2B, 2A, 3B. So this is a report where you have multiple sheets comparison with different returns and different reports. Then you can have a full year GSTR-1 download outward. This you can have at the yearly level, or if you want to have the data just for a month, you can have an Excel file. Similarly, for GSTR-1, 2A, 2B, all these is available on the monthly as well as yearly level. Moving to the reconciliation. So here we have four reconciliations, that is purchase register versus 2A, purchase register versus 2B, sales register versus GSTR-1, sales register versus sales register versus GSTR-1, and sales register versus GSTR-1 e-invoices. So you can do the reconciliation through these options. Then under this return filing, we have GSTR-1, 1A, 3B, 9, and 9C. Before moving to 9C, let me just take you to notice management. Here we have an option for notice management. here we have IMS invert and IMS outward. These are also available in GSTZen. So let me just move towards the return file list, that is GSTR-9. So after choosing this return option, you have to choose the filing period for which you want to file. So here I am doing it for the filing period 24-25. So to do the GSTR-9 filing for the year 24-25, you need to in the first step you will be fetching the data from the government portal, and that you need to do for the financial year for which you want to file your GSTR-9 for the previous year of that year, that financial year, and the current year. So you have all the three options available here. You can just simply click on these and open file the data whichever is there on the portal. So I am just opened 24-25. So this is how this looks like. It will give you all the data, like it will fetch GSTR-1, GSTR-1A, 2A, 2B, 3B. So it will fetch all the data. You just have to click on this all tab and click on download data from the government portal, and all the data will be downloaded here. So this is how similarly you can do for rest of the 2 years. So after fetching the data from the portal, you can download this consolidated report for GSTR-9 using this. But if you want to do the reconciliation of your GSTR-2B versus GSTR-9 table 8A table 8A data, then you need to run this matcher which is there, run GSTR-9 matcher, and then you are supposed to download this RECO report, which will give you the entries for 2B versus GSTR-9 table 8A. Then in the second step, you will be clicking on this download GSTR-9 auto calculated data from the government portal. Once you click on it, it will ask for the command, and you will give it as yes. It will fetch all the auto calculated and auto populated data in your GSTR-9 to the GSTZen dashboard. Once you download this data, you will move to this step where it will give you automatically calculated by GSTZen. So here, what does it mean is that whatever data you have fetched for all the 3 financial years, it will do the calculation and it will give you the ready-made data for you. You just have to click on this refresh. It will auto calculate all the data whatever is there in GSTZen database for all the 3 financial years, and then you can download the PDF. Similarly, if you want to see the data which is auto populated and want to know the calculation with auto populated data only, then you can go ahead with the second tab, that is calculated by the government portal. Again, you can refresh and download a PDF. So it will get auto populated data and calculation will be done, and you can just have the PDF. Then the tab is view and file. So here, once you click on this file, it will take you to an option where you can change the numbers whichever is being auto populated in your GSTR-9. You can just simply change in table 4 and table 5. You can work with all the outward supplies where tax is applicable or not. With this table 6, you can work for this ITC availed. Table 7, if there is any entries for the reverse and ineligible ITC, you can just take a look, and if you want to do any changes or if you want to add or like change anywhere, you can just do it, because these are the editable fields available. Jagdish sir has already explained about these tables. I won't take much of the time. So we have all the tables, table 8, table 9, table 14, 15. After making all the changes, you can just click on the save form. Once you click on the save form, it will give you a notification that the return data saved into GSTZen, and you can click on go back. It will take you back to the previous screen where we were just filing and considering the process. After viewing and after you do all the additions and deletions in your GSTR-9 data, you can simply upload your HSN summary for the outward and inward supplies. For that, we have an upload option here. Once you click on it, it will give you, of course, a template which you can refer or which you can use as well to upload your HSN summary, but it's not mandatory to use our this template. You can upload whichever template you are using. You can use this drag and drop option, or you just can select a file to upload HSN summary. So after you are done with all this thing, here comes the review GST and validation report. So once you click on this, just to mention it, these validations are from GSTZen and not mandated by the government portal. It's just give you more idea about the accuracy of data. So these parameters or these validations are there. It doesn't matter whether it's fail, pass, or data is missed. It's just for the consideration. You can just leave this, as this is not a mandatory and provided by GSTZen. You can simply leave this and move ahead towards the filing of your return. So after you are done with this validation thing, here comes the last step, that is uploading your GSTR-9 to the government portal. You can simply, whatever actions you have taken while filing, while auto-populating, fetching the auto-populated data, auto-calculation, you can just simply upload to the government portal by clicking on this upload again. Once you get this status as complete, you can download the PDF. And then again, it gives you an option to get the summary again. Here you can just see whatever you want to upload to the government portal for filing of your GSTR-9, whether everything is set accurately or not. You can just check while clicking on this get summary again, and again you can check the verify whether everything is set or not. Once you are satisfied with this, you can submit the return. You can file this return using the OTP. With these few quick steps, you can file your GSTR-9 using GSTZen. Here we have a tab at the top that is save your working. Whatever working you are doing for your GSTR-9, filing of your GSTR-9, you can save everything in GSTZen under this. So once you click on this, it will give you an option to add an attachment, which will, like, in future, if you want to just check whatever working you have done for this return, you can come back in GSTZen and click on this clip to see what all workings you have done or you have uploaded. So this is a tab present here. I hope GSTR-9 is clear. If not, of course, we are here to help you out with all the details again. Let me just take you to GSTR-9. So here for GSTR-9, I'll be using another GST number because I have not filed the return there. But if I show you, it will give some error. So here after this 9, I move to this GSTR-9C. Once I click on this, again, it will ask for the filing period. And here I'm choosing it for 24-25. Again, the steps are quite simple, more similar to what you are exactly doing in GSTR-9. So here it will, this return is available with OTP. So I'll just click on this and provide the OTP to log in. So here I have logged into the government portal using OTP. Now in first step, I will be fetching whatever data is there for 9C on the basis of GSTR-9. I will be clicking on this download and it will fetch the data. Then I can check using this PDF tab. Once I am done with this, I can file the GSTR-9 form. Here we have, if you're working on some other software and want to file through, and you extract the JSON, you can simply upload the JSON here. If not, here is a tab that's modify. Once you click on this, again, it will give you the complete tables where you can make the changes as per your data. Everything, all the columns are editable. You can simply edit the fields and the columns and the tables as per your data. Once you're done with that, again, you need to click on the save form and go back. So here my data is saved. Now I'm back to my steps. Now the third step is uploading document into GSTZen. So here you need to have the balance sheet and profit and loss statement to file the GSTR-9. Here, although I have already filed, so I'll be just deleting whatever I have attached and I'll be just uploading it again. Here it is giving you an option to upload your balance sheet and profit and loss statement. So I'll be just uploading one doc accepts the PDF. So I have uploaded the PDF. Once I'm uploaded, it again give me an option to delete because I have already uploaded one, and it gave me a status as saved. So once I'm done, if you want to upload any supporting other documents, these are the optional fields which are there. You can of course upload the supporting document if you have any. Once you are done with this, you need to upload your balance sheet and profit and loss statement to the government portal. By clicking on this tab, you can upload the both the statements to the government portal on the government portal. Once you are done with this, then again the same steps comes up, that is upload that you can upload your 9C to the government portal. Once it gives you the complete status, you can check you can click on the PDF and check. Similarly, you have option here, get summary again, to cross verify whether all the figures set correctly or not. Once you are done with this, you can proceed to file. You can file 9C using OTP or DSC. So with this, again, quick steps, you can file your GSTR 9C through GSTZen. As I mentioned while explaining the 9, that we have a clip here. So because I have uploaded two documents, that is balance sheet and profit and loss statement. So these attachments again save into GSTZen for the future reference. So with these steps, you can file your 9 and 9C using GSTZen. If I would always suggest sign up into GSTZen, explore about it. If you come across any questions, we are here to help you out. You can reach out to us on our support number, or you can send us an email on support@gstzen.in. So that's it from my side. Now over to Jagdish sir again so that he can take your doubts.
Yeah, okay. So most of the questions were answered by Akila. And there is one question that by Priyanshu Chaudhary. Way to record the RCM liability of the year and March, and how to show the payment made for that liability. Sir, yeah. For this, if you have already made the payment through 3B, then you have to report that in the table 4G. And if you have not made the payment through 3B, like if you have paid through DRC 03, in that case also, if you make the payment, then it will be form part of your GSTR-9. Even in that case, you have to report that in the table 4G and avail the ITC in the GSTR 3B, and also report it in the table 6. Yes. So other than that, all questions are answered by Akila. So still, if you have any questions, you can ask, or else sharing. So if you have any questions also, you can send us a mail to venu@vnv.ca or support@gstgen.in. So I hope no questions are there. Next week, I think we can wind up the session.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much for everything, for attending.
Thank you all participants for joining this session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.